and thanks for joining us from the Cannes Film Festival. Today, a filmmaker who previously won the top prize, the Palme d'Or, with his movie The Square. Swedish director Ruben Östlund's new film is a satire of the super rich, and it takes place on a yacht. It's also an examination of what it means to be a man in today's world. Ruben Östlund, hello.
Hello.
This is your first time back in Cannes, in competition since you won the first prize here with The Square back in 2017. It was also nominated for an Oscar. What's it like being back here with those accolades next to your name? Does it change anything?
When you have won the Golden Palm and you have had the success with The Square as we had, then the expectation on the next film becomes very high. So everybody's just presuming that the film will be in competition in Cannes. So there's a lot of pressure on the shoulders when you're working with the film. When we got the news that we are in competition, then we were like, we are relieved rather than happy, you know. And now I'm looking forward to screen the film and hopefully be happy with the reactions of the audience.
And The Square focused on the art world. Triangle of Sadness starts off as a satire on the fashion world. Then it opens up to talk more widely about the absurdities and the grotesqueness of the affluent. What is the Triangle of Sadness?
Well, the title actually comes from a term in plastic surgery. That is like that you have a wrinkle in between your eyebrows here. And in Sweden, it's called trouble wrinkle. So you have had a lot of trouble in your life, and that's why you get this wrinkle. But don't worry, you can fix it with Botox in 15 minutes. And I thought it was like a funny contradiction, and like to fix your surface and then feel better inside. And maybe it's true, I don't know, but it was like it's such a kind of dark humor in it that I liked.
Do you know what people regret on their deathbed?
Can you turn the phone?
No. No. That they were working too much. 7 out of 10 people are regretting that they were throwing away their lives on stupid and pointless jobs.
Can I get you anything to drink?
Your wife is a fashion photographer.
Yes.
And is it true that the happier the model in an ad campaign, the cheaper the brand,
Yes.
and the more they scowl, the more high-end it is?
You can actually go and have a look in one of these fancier perfume stores or fancier clothing stores that the ads then it becomes a little bit more chilly, the look on the model, and they often look down, and they are like not smiling.
Open your mouth so you look a little bit more available. Okay, not that much, a little bit less.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks. Next, please.
But what fashion industry basically is doing is that with our clothes, we are positioning ourselves in a hierarchy. So then we have to pay a lot of money to be on top and be able to look down on other people. And if we pay a little less money, like for H&M or Zara or these brands, then we can join the big smiling community. So we constantly are trying to dress in the way that the social group that we are connected to dress. And then it's very efficient to change fashion every fall and every spring, because then we have to consume new clothes.
And fashion is a rare industry where men earn less than women. There's this great scene at the beginning of the film where they're arguing over the bill, and she expects him to pay even though she earns more than him.
Yeah.
In real life, who should pay the bill?
I want it to be equal. You know, that's me screaming that to my wife when we met 8 years ago. And that fight that is in the film about the bill, she comes from a German family, more patriarchal structure. I come from a single race mother that is a socialist. We had this fight in Cannes, and it was about the bill. And I put the 50 euro bill in the elevator shaft of Martinez. So you probably can find the 50 euro still there in the elevator shaft. So, no, but I actually think it's hard to get happy in a relationship if you not are equal. And I think it's scary when people become products in relationship. That's trophy-wise concept, for an example, that you buy someone to be next to your side to like increase your value. But at the same time, I also think that economy and love is very close connected. I think we want to think that love is not connected to economy, but You can just think of how rare it is that you marry someone or get together with someone from a complete different social group. It's very often that you bond with someone that is in the same social group as you. And if you don't do that, then women often are bonding with richer men, because we live in a society where men have the money and can help women to climb in class society with their looks. So I am interested in looking at beauty as a currency.
I don't know, I was just born into this life. It was not my fault. And when this happened, I just felt like, why? Life is so unfair.
Yeah.
We are all equal.
That is so true.
Everyone's equal.
A central theme for you is white male privilege. That's constantly being re-evaluated. Are men in crisis?
I think it has been interesting the last years to be a man, because it's almost that before it was a norm and you didn't talk about being man that much, but now it has been like really looked closely at and looked on male behavior from a perspective that the man almost automatically becomes the perpetrator. That is also scary when you are a man. Why do I have to deal with these general ideas that if you're a man, then you also get connected with a lot of bad things. And at the same time, it's a fact that men are the one that is doing violent crimes, etc., etc.
The film is in 3 parts. I don't want to give too much away, but in the fashion world and on the luxury yacht, appearance and money are the most valued attributes and currency. On the desert island, the dynamic changes and these things become worthless. And the toilet cleaner, who can keep everyone alive, becomes the most valued member of the group. We also realised how vital cleaners were during COVID. What are you saying about today's world?
There's a lot of things that is great in our world. I actually don't have a pessimistic view on human beings or societies in general. There's a quote in the film during the fashion show that I think points out pretty much the things that I'm critical against in our times, and it is cynicism masqueraded as optimism. And for an example, when we have these big brands like promoting themselves, everyone's equal, or stop climate change, etc., in order to sell products, it's a cynicism in that. And it's masqueraded as optimism. We believe in good values, blah, blah, blah. No, you want to sell your products, and it works, you know? So cynicism masqueraded as optimism. That's what I think about the world.
Oh, no, I have one. Growth for the sake of growth is the ideology of a cancer. That's Edward Abbey.
Listen, the problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money. Margaret Thatcher.
You're gonna like this one. The last capitalist we hang will be the one who sold us the rope, Karl Marx.
In Force Majeure, you have the avalanche scene. In The Square, you have the ape scene.
Yeah.
In this film, you have this tremendous seasickness scene during a fine dining experience. Why are you so fascinated with how we cope in a crisis?
I like when we are trying to keep up that face and trying to behave like we are supposed to behave, and when we can't, when we actually have to expose a side of ourselves that is more maybe uncivilized or more primal. And it's relieving to look at that, because it makes me feel, yes, I'm also a human being, and that maybe how I would behave.
Your favourite themes seem to be how we act in a group, bravado, and fear of social disgrace. You also love awkwardness, don't you? Tell us about that.
Maybe it's connected also with the social situations, our fear of being excluded of the group, and because that's where we really feel awkwardness, I think, when we don't live up to the expectation of who we should be, and when we are losing face. I think that I'm interested in it because I'm so scared of it. I'm so scared of losing face. I'm so scared of starting to behave in a way that I don't want to behave. And even though if I am less troubled by shame today than I was 20 years ago, I think that shame is a big part of being a human being. It's really one of the forces that is pushing us in a certain kind of direction when it comes to how we socialize with each other.
Do you think ultimately humans are every man for himself?
No, absolutely not. I think that humans are great in collaborating.
Would you eat the food in secret or would you share it with the group on the desert island?
I think that I would, dependent on what my position is in the group. If I'm very far down, I don't believe that they will collaborate with me. It maybe would trigger egoistic behavior. But if I would feel that the resources in the group were spread out equally, then I would probably also be generous.
Ruben Östlund, thank you.
Cinema in the Spotlight on France 24 and France24.com.